do at the moment. They just went with it, and I thought that the ending WrestleMania 30, beating Triple H, and then obviously the triple threat match. It was a fantastic story, and of course New Orleans was also the place where Brock ended the Undertaker's streak. So you had kind of like you had a trade off, I guess. It was a trade off. Well, the Undertaker gets beat, but you get to see Daniel Bryan win the undisputed title. And it was a fantastic moment, and I haven't seen as good as momentum for a star going into WrestleMania, like a new star since him, and it does speak volumes. But yeah, really exciting times. I think it is positive news. I just hope WWE and Daniel Bryan, work it carefully. I would suggest not putting him on the road full time. I think they sort him a new contract. They give him a Brock-like deal. Because they know with Daniel Bryan, he is all about wrestling. He's not going to go anywhere else. So why not? If you can get 4 to 5 matches from him a year, I would take that, man. I don't know about you, but I'd be more than happy with that. I'm not really too fussed if I miss him on SmackDown. I'm not really, it is what it is. I'd be happy just to see some big box office matches during the year from Daniel Bryan, because I think there's so many good matchups that he could have still. And he can give back. He's one of those guys that can make other guys look so good as well. So for me, Daniel Bryan, very positive news there. Matt, of course, talking about Fastlane that we catched up on. What did you make that as far as a pay-per-view, Matt? A lot of people, I've got a lot of emails here, and I'll say this, other than maybe a few, the majority said that their roster seemed very, very stretched for that show, and I mean, we know they're going to go back to duo pay-per-views post WrestleMania, Matt. But how has it got to that point, Matt, where they're unable to put on, their own decent pay-per-views now? Is it really that stretched? Is there not enough guys? What is it? Why does it look like that, Matt, at the moment?
I don't know, it's a bit of a... I think we've been quite a while without a kind of shake-up situation. That's what I assumed we was going to get every year. I thought they were going to do what they used to do with the brand split, and then, the superstars would be chopped and changed every year. I just kind of feel like we've been in a stale position for quite a while, particularly the SmackDown brand. They're a bit lighter on the superstars, aren't they? And they could definitely do with some new talent. We've seen some matches just way too many times. Like, how many times have we had to see Randy and Nakamura team up, and sometimes we have to see Jinder fighting Randy, and that's still going on. We're seeing this far too much. I think only small changes are made at times, aren't they? Like Asuka's now going to SmackDown, when she wins that role. But she's still on Raw even, so they're having to work her on 2 shows right now. I think they're just like limiting themselves. I think they can remedy this. It's just hopefully after WrestleMania they feel like that is the time for the shake-ups. But from some of the actual events coming up afterwards, it just seems like the same old roster is being booked and advertised to people.
Yeah. What did you make of Fastlane as a pay-per-view, man? Did you enjoy the show, or was it what we kind of was just expecting?
It was all right, I would say, just all right. There's only one unexpected thing that happened, and that was that Randy Orton win the US title.
Right, yeah.
I feel like it would have been a bigger moment if he'd won it at WrestleMania, personally. But I feel like that was the only thing that was different, because everything else was like they were too afraid to change anything before Mania. It's almost like they should have just not bothered having that pay-per-view. They should have just gone, you know what, we'll just build and build until WrestleMania, because it just felt like a pay-per-view for the sake of having one.
Yeah, I think so. I think you're absolutely right, and I think even fans, I know that as far as ratings went, even on the network, it was pretty abysmal. It wasn't a great one, but I think it's one of these things. I think because it was one of the extra ones, so it was only WWE exclusive, network exclusive. You can't get it on. You couldn't buy it on pay-per-view. You can only buy the Raw one. But what that told the audience, in a way, is you could miss this. I just think when they do things like that, it just shows you it isn't that important. I think they're basically saying to you, if you do want to miss it, you can, or you can just catch up with it whenever you want. But as far as the actual live audience went, it was a terrible ratings for that one, so nobody was that interested. But yeah, just to look at both of those pay-per-views in the middle. I think they've hurt the road to WrestleMania. I really do, because you've come out of the Royal Rumble, and I feel like the Royal Rumble did a really good job of the idea of like, right, okay, I'm really excited now. There's Ronda back, Oscar's won the Rumble, Shinsuke's won the men's. Who's he gonna? They could have done things like I would have preferred if Shinsuke hadn't announced who he was going to wrestle, and we would have left that for a few weeks. So it could have been, even though it would always end up being AJ, he could have it could have been that tease of a Brock Lesnar match and done some strong stuff. Had maybe a few like little run-ins with Heyman or something like that. They could have dragged that a little bit longer, but they missed that opportunity. And I just feel like the momentum went because they had to build up these two pay-per-views in the middle that really, I think we already knew was going to be winning. I mean, I think if Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns was always going to be the case, and I didn't expect AJ Styles to be losing that title, considering Shinsuke had announced it, and then you get all this great publicity for that match. I was thinking, why would WWE change that? I mean, that would just piss everybody off. So that, for me, that I just didn't really get those pay-per-views, but. I mean, this running, we're 2 weeks out from WrestleMania. I've got to say, I should be a little bit more pumped, but I'm kind of not. I don't know what it is, man. I just not. I know I haven't been around, but even just catching up with these Raws, it just seems like they just kind of get by week to week, and some of the matches some of the feuds have almost been put together very last minute, and I feel like the importance of a WrestleMania match is kind of going down here each time I'm looking at it, like. For some of these. But the other thing that gets me, Matt, as well, and I know I've mentioned this on this podcast, it goes back to the WWE bloody 2K games. When you set up a feud in your universe, for instance, and you get like those 3 slots, and then you can't ever have like other guys go in against other guys because they are jammed. As an example, you look at Matt Hardy and Bray, they can't do anything with anyone else, because they're just in a feud with each other. But it would be nice now and then if they could just sort of mix it up a bit, because what you get is different variations of the match you're going to get at WrestleMania. I mean, it'll be the same with the Intercontinental Belt, it'll be the same with the United States Belt, it'll be the same with the tag team. They'll do every kind of different combination match until it gets to WrestleMania. And you're like, well, do you know what? By this point, I'm done with it. I'm bored of seeing these guys. Like, I would much rather them do how they used to do it, where you get a nice big build. They don't really touch. You get a few sort of things happening in the feud with attacks and stuff like that. But I think honestly, less is more. But I do feel they spoil it, man. I mean, I don't know what you think about that, but it's got worse for that over the years. I just find like once they're locked into something, it seems like there's a golden rule somewhere that's been written where you can't have like a guy just getting involved in somebody else's business, even if it's like, I don't know, Elijah going over with Matt or anything like that. Just something a little bit different for 1 week that just spruce it up. But all it seems is those guys will never come into contact with each other because they're locked into these other feuds. But what do you think about that, Matt? I mean, is that just overlooking things, or is there an element of that when you're watching it sometimes?
No, I've always felt like that, really. I mean, it is a bit of a shame that they never interlink things anymore. It does kind of feel like you have to finalise something before you can move on to the next thing. I always felt that way about tag teams as well. It's like no one can ever just be in a tag team and then pursue a singles career. You always have to brutalise your tag team partner before you can take a singles run. Yeah,
it's tradition. So it's interesting. Now, of course, coming off of Raw this week, we got a taste of the Ultimate Deletion, Matt, version 2, shall we say here. And what did you make of the Ultimate Deletion, Matt? Because again, this feud for me has gone on way too long. But we finally get a match that I guess the fans of Matt Hardy from TNA wanted. But did WWE miss the mark in some ways here, Matt? Because from my vantage point, I felt they missed out all the humour parts. Like, they should have. It's a bit like the bits where they would in the original one where they dip him in the water and he comes out as different gears. I was expecting, they'd do Husky Harris or something. They'll do that. No, they didn't do that. Or they do like the Nexus. I don't know, some members of the Nexus coming out. Just things like that. But I really felt like they missed the mark of the humour side of it, and I mean, it was different. It was okay, but it's one of those things you can never redo the original, and I felt like it was. I just felt like they missed the mark here. I didn't think it had the impact that it should have had. What did you make of it, Matt? Because it did run through the whole of Raw. In fact, finished off Raw. But what did you think about it?
Oh yeah, I was very surprised anyway. It did feel like they tried. It felt like someone had watched the TNA ones and thought, okay, we're gonna bring in all of these factors, all of these little bits that they used, and try and recreate it. Except, like you said, they just missed the comedy value of it. Felt like it was much too serious in ways, but it was too ridiculous to be serious in any sort of way.
Yeah.
And yeah, like you said about that lake of reincarnation, that was supposed to be, I'm assuming, this means a gimmick change for Bray in some way, but I'm not too sure how that is going to pan out. I think the only positive I might take from it is, hey, we know Brother Nero's there. We know what Jeff is now.
Yeah. Vanguard, of course, was involved and all the rest of it, but Signor Benjamin and all that lot. But it was one of those moments you thought, you'd never want a mate round who's not into wrestling watching it at that point, would you? They'd be like, what the hell is this? Never mind. Probably, again, we've had to go through House of Horrors last year, and that was quite diabolical, again involving Bray Wyatt, but I mean, that was even more embarrassing, the fact that Orton turns up in a limo in his wrestling gear. And then there's all the music, but I don't know. I kind of feel like fans want it to work. I think they're always going to back it, but I just don't know if what they're actually getting is really what they want. They need to do more things original. We need to see the character progress and evolve a little bit more, because all we're seeing is sort of rekindled magic from TNA. And to be honest with you, not many times I say it's about TNA, but TNA did it better. I mean, it is better. It was better there. I mean, I don't know if it's just because Matt was given more creative freedom with it, but it was better. So I feel like WWE are getting like a B version of it because they just don't know how to run with it. I don't know what this means for WrestleMania for the both of them, but possibly maybe just the Battle Royal now, Matt, do you think, with these two?
I would like to think, that it's over with. But,
you
like
said
I said,
that a few times.
I think, with this whole thing, they could run a new angle now with Bray's new gimmick. Though I'm not too sure really what they can do with him. I do think like the old one has run its course. I think he's fought nearly everybody, and every time he gets into a new feud, he just feels kind of stale. So I think they do need to change something about him. But I can't really see what direction they take him in. Yeah,
I think so. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if they have him with Matt. What happens with Jeff? Does he do the Brother Nero's? Where is there like a trio? I don't know. Interesting. I do really think Bray needs a fresh start. I think for Matt, I think he's at let's be fair. Matt Hardy, he's at the sort of stage of his career where I don't think he's looking for anything too outrageous. However, if he'd have been booked properly from the get-go last year, Matt, when he first came in, he probably would have got a main event spot at like SummerSlam or something, because he would have been that over. But I do feel like they've left it way too long, and now we've finally got it. And this feud with Bray is it seems like they're just absolutely draining the lifeblood out of this thing to the very end. So it's a bit of a shame, because potentially, I think honestly, I truly believe this, he could have got a few main events out of this on SmackDown or Raw, either or. I honestly do. I think he could have worked a heel, or he could have worked a babyface, and they could have done something, because he would have been that over. Honestly, the feud has gone on way too long. I'm hoping that this is the end, but again, this may evolve into something else where they're now teaming with each other. Something else that's been on everybody's mind now, Matt, is of course this sort of long-winded Unanswered question now of John Cena coming out every week, it seems, and he's trying